All right, good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and we'll go through the live analysis, forward-looking understanding of the order flow, what's happening in the current market. We'll read the order flow. We'll understand the participants in the auction process. That will give us insight to where price might go. So that's the beauty of using order flow, being able to read that kind of footprints in the sand. Anyway, general disclosure. Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure. Trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, as you guys know, our Pro Trader webinar series is running currently. So all week long, it's in Discord only. So if you're interested, come on over to our Discord channel, and I can provide the link for you here in just a minute. Yeah, come on in, and let me get you the link to the event. Hold on. Okay. All right, so the Pro Trader webinar series, we do this every quarter, and the goal here is to get fresh insights from other professional traders. How do they trade? What are they looking at? How do they manage their trades? What is their setup, etc., or setups? And we started off yesterday. We had every day here at 2:30 East Coast time is when we're holding these. Yeah, just click on the link there, and you can come right on over to our Discord and sign up for the events. All of the events are there. Yesterday, Maxime and I went through trading tools in Bookmap. A good webinar going over our trading simulator using replay mode combined with our trading journal. Okay, we have really robust tools now to be able to kind of track, understand your performance over time. It's been really a good direction here with these new tools so that you can become a better trader. Then later today, we have Brandon Trades. We've never had a webinar with him before, so really looking forward to that. He's a great trader. He trades options as well as futures and stocks. Yeah, come at 2:30 for that. And then another trader we've never had before, Thor from Bear Bulls Traders. He will be at 2:30 tomorrow, Wednesday, and he's going to go through how he trades, and he uses a lot of pivot levels within his stock trading. We have Options Millionaire. You guys know who he is, but always great to have a lot of insight from him and the way that he trades options and futures and hedges a lot of his positions. And then Mossy trades on Friday. Okay, so looking forward to that one as well. Never had her before. She's also options, stocks, and futures. All right, so we've got a really nice lineup here. Sign up. You got the link, and we'll see you at 2:30 East Coast time all week here. You will need to verify your email subscription. You can go through the process here if you like and use your phone for the QR code to come into our Bookmap Discord server. That's it. All right, so let's jump into the order flow. Let's see what's going on. We're looking at the S&P E-mini. We just had some data come out. The consumer confidence, and you can see not so confident. Here's 10 o'clock here, and a move to the downside. All right, so now any questions on yesterday's webinar? We had a pretty good webinar going over. Let me show you the recording, in fact, if you're interested in that webinar. So on our YouTube page, you can come down here to, or we can just go to lives here, and we can see the one from yesterday here. You might want to check it out just as a review. This was talking about trading supply and demand with the liquidity heat map. Okay, so that's what we went through in on some detail. We also covered cumulative volume delta along with that. Yeah, I wanted to first open it up and see if you guys had any questions so we can cover that. But if you don't, we'll continue on. And I wanted to go through some momentum strategies today. We'll see what the market gives us. Maybe it won't give us that, and we'll look for supply and demand back in a range or something like that. Well, first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump from the ES contract here, and we're going to look at the ES contract over here in a synthetic instrument that Bookmap creates with a different heat map. It's free. It's part of the Bookmap subscription for Global or Global Plus for futures. Why do we have this? It's because of this algo in here. You can see really skews the order book here and is dominating the order book. It blows out the heat map. We just don't get too much insight of what's happening. We get less insight. Sorry. We used it yesterday, and you can see we just traded into some high liquidity here as well just now. Okay, so we're looking for a little bit of a pullback now because of this level right here of high liquidity transacting. And we're getting that pullback. Right, so now we'll see if we get more buyers, more demand coming in to trade up into this 5770 and through it. Okay, but right now we're looking for a pullback. Okay, because we just traded into high liquidity here. We know it's a stop run as well. Anyway, let's continue on, and we'll go through the minute. There we go. Okay, we'll go through looking for some momentum as well. And let me check the questions here first. All right, good morning, everybody. Excellent. All right, so we're all set there. What about on YouTube? No questions over there. Okay, so let's take a look now, and we'll start off with a bigger picture, actually let's start off with yesterday. Just a quick recap on yesterday's action in the webinar. Okay, this is what we were talking about here. Okay, you can also see it in here. And in here and a little bit in here. See this high liquidity? Okay, this is high liquidity. It's in the heat map. Now, like I said, the heat map of this algo up here is blowing out the, you can see 340 contracts, 261 contracts, compared to some of these other areas in here, which is quite a bit less, okay, 132 or this one down here, 176, is still high liquidity. It's just this color in the heat map, it's not as bright because of the scaling up here, blowing out the heat map here. And now there's a way to overcome that, not using necessarily Trader Map Lite or Trader Map Pro from Bookmap. We can also just right click on here, go to heat map settings, and then we can make the cutoff in here a bit less. So we'll look at the cutoff here for the scaling to be, I don't know. We'll take a look here, maybe around 90, and see what we get here. Maybe a little bit more than 90 on the upper cutoff. What we're doing is we're making this area very, very high liquidity up here, which it already was. Okay, but we want to get insight to the other areas here that are less liquidity, and we'll brighten them up. So see these areas in here? We can brighten them up by taking the upper cutoff down to lower levels here. Right, so that's how you do it. We can also just jump over to Trader Map Lite And you can see how we have successfully gotten rid of, we've taken out of the equation here that trading bot. And now we can look at this liquidity heat map in here and look at how much cleaner this looks. So that's why we're using this Trader Map Lite in here. So you can see we're trading into high liquidity right now on Trader Map Lite. Okay, so let's take a look then. Are we get some buyers come in after trading into this demand in here? Let's take a look here. Okay, a little bit of, we would anticipate a pullback here. Okay, let's see if we can get back up to here though, at 65 or so, 66, let's call it. And then if we get demand up there or aggressive buyers to maybe try to reach back to 70 here. Okay. So that's one of the scenarios by understanding the heat map and trading into high liquidity here. Okay, so for example, look at this in here. High liquidity is transacting. These are buyers. We come back again. We trade into some high liquidity here. It's not as high, but we don't find as many sellers here. Okay, so this is starting to, well, we're just not finding as much supply. Right, so we would anticipate that pullback up into these areas here. We said 66. We just came up to it right here. Yep. And maybe we can get enough demand to come up higher. Okay? Not seeing it right now. In fact, a little double top, lack of buyers here, sellers coming in. Okay, so that's how we can put together reading the heat map along with the aggressors and the price structure. Right, so first off, let's just talk about the price structure because this is a nice little double top pattern in here. Actually, it's a double top. I mean, it's a retest back to an area. I should probably not call it a double top. What I mean to say is we see buyers take it up to the top of this structural level here on this time frame. After trading into high liquidity, retesting here, and we don't see a whole lot of sellers. So we see them, we see buyers come back in and trade back up to this area here. We get another retest up here. And then we can read it here. This is how you can put together and read price structure together with volume. Okay, we're going to start with those two. In fact, let's just dim the heat map completely. Price structure would be this. This is a level, and this is a level down here. Now, we went through this one already. Let's just cover this one quickly here. We come up to the top of this level here. We see some buying coming in, not a whole lot though. We pull back to where these buyers came in. And we retest back up here and we don't find buyers. So on the retest up here, we're not finding demand or in the market here, appetite to buy this product here. We're finding sellers and lack of buyers. Therefore, we're looking for a move back down to test the bottom of this little range or this range here. A very, very simple setup. Let me know if you have any questions on this. All we're looking for is a test back into the range here because it failed up here to find demand. Okay, so this is how you can start to put together price structure and volume. And this is what makes up a lot of times your double top. Now, for it to be a double top, you got to be trending up basically. So that's why I shudder to call it a double top. It's a retest back up here, top of the range, and it fails. Okay. Now, that's just volume and price structure. And again, these are really, really simple ideas, but they're profound, and it's how the market works. To be honest, it's if there are no buyers up in here, well, then you're not going to find anyone interested in trading here. It's going to dribble back down into the range here, or you're going to find sellers at this point thinking it's a deal to take it back down to the range. Okay, and then that is completed at that point. This has done its move. Now we find new demand coming in here, and then again we're not finding at a higher high, and again sellers in here. So this is the back and forth of the market. We find some sellers in here actually taking it further down. Now this could be your trap volume, Rob, that we see the dip below this area in here, some sellers, and then it dries up. And we come back up in the range and then retest again. On this retest, we're not finding many sellers. We're finding some, but not many. Okay, so now we've rotated back up. This is a really simple idea, and it has profound impact here on your trading. It can. When you look for a retest and you don't find follow through, okay, it's a really good one, and this is something we've always talked about it, and integrating this very simple idea into a trading plan. Okay, now look at the retest back up here. Buyers, some buyers. Now there's a little bit more buying interest. Okay, so now buyers should be able to break it or explore just to maybe a little bit higher, or they may come in with a lot of buying pressure and explore quite a bit higher, back up to 70. And let's see if we get it here. Let's see if we get more buyers again up here, and let's see if we get a breakout. Okay, we're still seeing some buying up here. Not much on this retest here. Okay, well, we've come back down to the bottom of this range in here. Not many buyers here. Now let's see if they come back up again though. See if we get our buyers right here. And let's see if they come back up here, and let's see if we get more. Now we're looking for a breakout. Okay, so we've tested up here several times. We've tested down here, and now we're looking for buyers to explore higher. Okay, now we're looking at just two elements in here, and this can kick off a lot of ideas for a lot of different strategies. You can even see potentially in here bigger picture move of a maybe this turns into a reversal. Okay, we're not there yet, but we're looking for more buying on this side of the potential head of the head and shoulders here. All right, now this is just two elements in here: volume and price structure. Right, and you can see actually our breakout up in here, our breakout idea. Well, on the retest here, it failed. There was a little bit of buying, and then that was it. And now that's hindsight. And that's true. And we saw it in real time, but I was still anticipating a bit more buyers to try to extend it higher here. Now we still may get it. We've just rotated back down again here. Okay, so we need to see if we get more demand, or if we get this. Right, this is where it trades up here. We don't get the buying, and anyone that started to buy in here is on the hook for this. This is going to be a stop run here. Okay, so these are two different scenarios to go through. We still may come back up here. We'll see. Let's turn on. I cannot turn on stops and icebergs here. Yeah, we'll have to go back to this instrument here, and it's a huge stop run. Okay, so as you can see. Now let's turn on stops and icebergs on chart. I can turn it on here, I believe. Hold on. On chart I can do. I've got to turn it on the original one. That's right. Okay. So if you turn on stops and icebergs on the original chart here, it'll populate, and then it will also populate on my Trader Map Lite. There you go. Okay, so 258 stops run here. All right, so we're still looking though and waiting and watching. Maybe we can get back up above the stop run here on some buying pressure. Okay, and then we look for it to auction back up here to the 66 level and potentially break out. All right. Now I haven't looked at the higher time frame. I haven't looked at levels on the 15-minute chart or the hourly or the daily or anything like that. Okay, we're just reading only two elements here: the price action and the volume within the price action. What we've been covering mostly here is retests back to the top of a range or bottom of a range. So now let's turn the heat map back on though and get this additional insight, because this is really important, and you can see what's happening in here, some interesting stuff. Now this is the scenario we just outlined if we can get back up above here on some buying. Okay, so buyers back up to the top of this range in here. Let's look for it again, get a bit more buying, and maybe we can break out up into 70 here. Okay, again, supply and demand is what we're going to be reading in here. Just really, really simple. So for example, did we get our buyers up in here? Well, we got buyers in here, but not really up here. Okay, there's no interest at the top of the range in here. Okay, so we're getting this kind of retest back down here. We'll see, maybe we'll still get buyers in here. This is kind of our under over right here. And kind of a pivot in here. There's sellers below it, there's buyers above it. All right, so the heat map, going back to the heat map in here, now we're going to add that into the equation here. And you can see some nice liquidity over here, for example, and then the bounce. Not too much liquidity in here. It's kind of at the lower end of the range in here, or upper end of the range in here. And we just kind of channeled in between it here. Here you can see the demand started to pick up underneath, also here. Looks like maybe a potential spoof as well. We know that some of these are some of the likely the same players in here. These little blocks of liquidity, they're all adding and pulling at the same time. Okay, so it's a bit of a spoof in here, like these guys in here, these players. You can see that some of them stayed in a little bit, but you can see how a lot of it pulled in here, and then some of it traded in here, and then definitely down here at these levels. So did we get back up here? No, not yet. We're still above our level here at 62 though. All right. So anyway, now we've added the third element on here, and we're reading everything. We're reading the supply and demand in the market with the limit orders. Okay, the passive orders. They want to trade at these levels, and we can see it in the heat map. We're looking at the aggressors in relationship also to the price structure. All right, let's take a jump back here and look at our bigger picture. We hadn't done that yet, and understand what's happening here. All right, so here we go. Let's first look at the daily. And you can see that it's really pretty choppy here. I mean, we're at all-time highs up here on the daily, but you can see that we came up to the recent high up here, and it failed, and we're back in the range from yesterday's activity. On the hourly, also same thing. This cluster of bars, take some bars away here. Okay. Yeah, and we just traded back down to the bottom of this little range here on the hourly. Okay, top of the range, failed, came back into the range, and we're starting to see some covering in here right now. All right, 15-minute chart, and now we can get into market timing as well as some of the swings, important swings in here. All right, well, pretty strong momentum here to the downside, especially after that consumer sentiment. And you can see some of the profit taking, or maybe it was, we notice it was a stop run down here. But now we've traded down here a couple times, and we're seeing like buyers in here, or at least we're seeing wicks, and price has moved back up. And now let's see if we get more sellers coming back in here on the, usually what we see is or what we look for is these retests in here, just like what we were covering earlier on much smaller time frames. It tested here and didn't find more sellers, or it was a stop run, and we come back up into the range up in here, this range here, okay, above this area. Okay, so back up into this range in here. And then we came back down again and tested here, and we made a higher low. And we came back up a little higher here and tested up here. But right now, you can see the 15-minute candle just closed. This is our the 10:30 candle here. And now we're going to look to see if we get more buyers come back in and try to retest this, and maybe they can break out. That is one scenario. The other scenario, because we've got some pretty big wicks here. So this is when we're gonna outline some of the scenarios here and then confirm it with the order flow. And let's see if we may get more sellers come in. And if we get our third test down here, well, then likely at that point we're looking for a break. And then to retest maybe here or in this kind of area down in here, a zone. Okay, more sellers, more momentum. How does that look on the higher time frame? Well, we'd come back down to the swing low of yesterday, looking at that here on the hourly. Okay, so here what we're doing is outlining these scenarios in the market structure. Then we're going to talk about, well, we're going to look at how those scenarios are playing out in the order flow. Again, the footprints in the sand of the traders. So let's jump back here and look at Bookmap. Yeah, okay, so now we're getting our demand back up here again. Okay. Now this is where we kind of left off yesterday. Okay, we just traded into high liquidity in here. We're looking for a bit of a pullback. Okay, maybe back down to about here in these areas in here. Okay, 62 or so. Now, if we trade into high liquidity that's up at this area in here, well, maybe we've got something here. Maybe we see that we'll see if we rotate back in with buyers, aggressive buyers. You can see they're pulling that liquidity a bit in here. See how it's getting darker in here? Okay, so that doesn't look too good, that scenario. We want to see them stay in the order book here with the intent to trade and try to absorb that selling pressure. So this was the pullback to 62. It's already unfolded. And now we're going to look for and see, like, well, there's some high liquidity here. It's not a whole lot. So yeah, I'm not too convinced by this. If we get sellers here yet again at this 62, then it's pretty likely that we can drop back down into these lower levels here. Okay, now we did rotate back up after trading to this liquidity, back up to 65 or 64.5 to this liquidity, and back down again. Okay, now this is interesting. Look how see how they're staying in the book here a bit better. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So let's see, do we get aggressive buyers, green dots in here? Okay, we want to see them. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so let's see if we can get. Oh, we rotate back down again. Let's see if we can rotate back up and get a bigger green dot up here. Okay, that showing that buyers want to lift the market maybe up into 65 and higher. Nope, nothing shaking down into the liquidity at a lower level here. We're going to go through the process again. Good morning, Stephen. Any questions on this? I'm trying to We had a really nice webinar yesterday in simplifying, understanding this relationship with liquidity and price action and the aggressive volume here. Okay. So now we just traded back down to the bottom of the range in here. All right, so let's see. I'm looking for again a pullback here, but let's take a look at our bigger picture. How is that panning out here? Okay, so we're still seeing momentum to the downside. Okay, timing of day as well. Well, we're still seeing momentum here to the downside. Now we'll have to watch this carefully because right around this time we do get reversals. If we get tremendous demand coming in, then we'd look for that reversal to unfold. I'm not seeing it. I'm still seeing momentum to the downside here. Okay, that's on that third candlestick here. Okay, so I'm still, and we're at this lower level in here. If we don't get our buyers in and we get more sellers in here, I'm looking for them to trade not only to this 56, I'm looking for them to break it. Okay, 56 is down here. Yeah, I'm looking for it, sellers. Let's see it drop through 50, 58 liquidity, 56, and look at that. We're getting buyers in here at this lower level. They're just going to be fuel for the fire in the stop run to the downside. Okay, so I'm looking for a flush through now into the swing here at 57, and then 56, and then maybe we can see a really, really big stop run. Let's see if we get it here. Looking for it. Seeing buyers down at these lower levels like this after not being able to make a higher high, it's really they're backpedaling. They're this kind of a last gasp in here, and they're fuel for the move lower here. This is kind of a different way of looking at the trap volume. Rob, not to be confusing, but just to understand that, wow, buyers are failing to, they're buying in here. See the green dots. They're failing to lift the market, though. They can't make a higher high. That's why price structure combined with the volume gives us this insight here. And that's when we start to look for exactly what's unfolding here. We know this is going to be a stop run. Here's 64 here. Here's 354 that just got stopped out here as well. Okay, and this is the move into the 56 that we just talked about. Okay, I hope that makes some sense. Let's jump back though and look at our bigger picture again. Okay, so now we've tested down here. We came back down to this swing here on the 15-minute chart, and we're seeing a bit of profit taking and maybe some buyers starting to enter here. And not much, but some. All right. Let me double back here and answer some questions. Just a minute. Okay. So much algo activity on Bitcoin. Can you expect trader map to be added to digital? No, it's not added, John. And yeah, you are right. There's tremendous amount of algo activity on the on crypto markets, in crypto markets, Bitcoin especially. Do the order book sessions volume charts influence trading? My trades at all? They're purely based on the map, off the map. Oh no, it's a context here that we want to understand, and that's where we lose a lot of traders in the education on that, and it's a little different way of looking at things. Okay, because like we can look at a candlestick pattern, and the pattern says, like, if it's an engulfing pattern, well, you go the opposite direction. Or a hammer or shooting star or whatever, and it gets below that area, you go the opposite direction, or whatever the pattern is. But it's really the relationship, because the pattern can be wrong so many times, and it is you get a lot more insight by understanding the volume within that pattern, but then even more insight by understanding the liquidity that's transacting or spoofing or doing something in there within that pattern as well. Okay, for example, let's just take a look at this. What do we have here? We've got a lot of liquidity getting filled here and this is the bigger picture. Some in here, and also just now here. Okay, these are buyers. Okay, then the heat map, these are buyers, and they're transacting. The big red dot into the heat map shows that the transaction between buyers and sellers took place. So the question is there still more aggressive selling or supply? Or are all of these limit buy orders here absorbing all of that selling? That is the context. Now let's just put a candlestick chart on here, and let's make it a little bit bigger. We're looking at a 1 minute. Let's look at a 5 minute. Maybe even less than 5 minutes. Fine. Okay, so what is the 5 minute candlestick chart telling us? Well, it's telling us sell, 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 sell. We just closed here at a lower area below all of this activity in here. Okay. However, what's the context between even these two candles in here? Well, there's more selling in here, but there's also this liquidity getting filled. Okay, so now we can look for a potential here for that engulfing pattern, and let's see if we get it here, because I'm really curious. The timing is looking pretty good, but we need to see quite a bit of buying come back in now. And what we're looking for here, well, the candle would have to close up here, right? Around 61.5 or so, something like that. And we obviously we need to see a big green candle here, but we want to also look at the volume within that pattern. Okay, so look here. After all of this down here, look at the sellers down here. I don't see a lot of sellers. I'm starting to see some buying interest now. Okay, so I am looking for the buyers to come back up and test this swing here and where this candle ends here. Okay, and I'm coming up with that thesis based off of all of this liquidity getting filled in here. Okay, and then I got the insight here that we don't have much liquidity, but we don't have any selling supply. Therefore, we're looking for buyers to start to come in here, and then the retest back up to the top of our range here. Now, there's our engulfing candle. Okay, now, do you trust that engulfing candle at this point? I'm looking for a pullback for right now. I'm not looking for it to just engulf and then go straight up. A bit of a pullback here. We have some liquidity filled in here, and then let's see if we can. Here's a bit of a pullback. It's already done it. Now the question is, do we get more buyers? Starting to. Okay, there. Now we just kind of we got a few, and then it stopped. Okay, let's look again now. We're going to rotate back up again. Let's see if we get some. We do, and we're looking at the order book in here to give us some insight. I look for buyers to take it up into these areas up in here, or maybe they've got enough to pop it up into 65. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Okay, after the pullback, do we get more buyers coming in? And we did. Now they only traded up here to this liquidity here, getting another pullback. Now we want to look at in this area in here again. What are the size of these green dots, or the transactions on the buy side? What about higher liquidity like this in here at higher levels at 60? Looks pretty good. The bid is strong here, even this 58 level. The bid is strong. Okay, what about the offer? Well, these guys stayed in the book and traded. These guys up here, they're still in the book too, and we're seeing lower liquidity here at 62.25. Okay, so we have an auction two-way here. What would look really good is if these guys started to pull that liquidity, the bid added more, and we get our aggressors here. Okay, now we're getting two pieces of that equation. We're getting the bid strong here, and we're getting the aggressive buyers that we're looking for. Okay, so we're still looking for this to go higher. But we do have something that's against us here, and it's not the perfect setup in terms of the tape reading or the liquidity here. This liquidity stayed in the book and transacted. You know, you can see we came back up into this level of liquidity here, and we didn't find too many buyers. Okay, so that's why we're rotating back down again. Now let's see if we can get it again, and I want to see these guys pull that liquidity. It'd be really great. See that bid really step up, get our aggressive buyers, and we can get a really nice move up into these areas here. All right, well, let's zoom out. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, look at our wicks up here and this kind of 67 level up here, liquidity up here. Okay, so I'm looking for buyers in the bigger picture to trade up to that level, and they're already doing it. Yeah, so let's zoom in again. All right, we're going to get a bit of a pullback, a little back and forth in here. We got our aggressors, but they're staying in the order book here and somewhat here. Okay, there's now 67 just transacted, and you can see that they stayed in the order book here as well. So now, as aggressors on the buy side are coming in, they're trading up into high liquidity on the offer into sellers, and those transactions are taking place. So likely they're going to, well, we know that they're going to absorb some of that buying pressure. There still are more aggressive buyers though, but we're still looking for this to go higher until it exhausts out and there's less aggressive buyers, and then all of these sellers in here are positioned pretty nicely. I don't know. I'm hoping this makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions in here. You know, we've been covering this kind of education for years. Just trying to keep it very, very simple though and straightforward for you guys. I don't want to get too complex. We just had a nice feeling yesterday in the webinar. Thought maybe we'd continue on in that vein. No questions? We were just looking for some of these moves to unfold. We haven't talked about any of the trade management. Okay, trade management is a whole different ball game. Okay, you know, being able to read the order flow and look for these price movements to unfold in real time is great. It's great. It's really helpful. It gives us confidence for setting up ourselves with the trade management. Okay, but the trade management is a whole nother side here, and that's where the rubber really meets the road, because you need to be able to execute off of these ideas. Okay, else they're just ideas, just concepts in the market, auction market theory, blah blah. You know, we need to wrap trade management and a system for trading around it. Trade manager is the hardest part. Yeah, I mean, Rob, this is where like it really is, and that's where the emotional part comes in too. And this is why we kept we keep hitting back into journaling your trading in the Bookmap Academy, marking up your charts, looking for these things to unfold, and then trading it in replay mode. You know, sharing now, as you guys know, you can share your trading journal and your trading activity in here. There's the share button here. There's the manage button in here, and you can see like Maxime shared his journal here with me. He only has 9 trades in here, and he's a developer. Look at how much it went for him. 0. Look how much it went against him. 2, 1, 2. So clearly he's testing it. It's not about you know, he just wants it to work correctly, and that's what he's doing in here. And me too. A little bit different than him, but you know, testing some big size in here. Here, that's not it. Here, 60 contracts, 40 contracts, 20 contracts. How am I getting filled? How is the simulator holding, working in this environment, and etc. Right. So anyway, yeah, that's what these tools are for. That should help, Rob. Should help a lot. Okay. Now let's just go over some simple trade management principles as well. Okay. First off, what we're looking for is having an edge. That's the first thing. Okay? Understanding you have an edge. Now let's go back. We'll kind of reverse engineer it a little bit. Okay? Like we were reading this potential engulfing pattern here. Okay, well that played out pretty well. It played out real well. And we were looking for the move up into this high liquidity potential move up into here. We got it. We got a little bit of a pullback, and we're still seeing more demand and more buyers. Now they're still staying in the book here, and look at the higher high in here. Okay, so you know, we can see that it's starting to. We're seeing the buyers here, but it's starting to slow price down a little bit. Okay, these are like speed bumps, if you want to look at it that way, or you want to look at it as you know, a sponge absorbing, or whatever it is. You know, so yeah, I'm still looking for 70 to trade here. It has not traded yet on this move, but looking for that move into that liquidity. Okay, the bid is still strong. Look at the bid underneath here. It's a powerful combo to look at the bid like this. You know, this aggressive bid underneath at a higher level in here. Okay, so if we get buyers and aggressive bid, typically we will trade into that and test that liquidity, typically. Okay, again, that's an idea right there for a trading strategy or setup. Okay, you can use the setups. This is another tool in here for your setups, the setup manager, or I'm sorry, let's find it here. Setups checklist. Here we go. Okay, where you can put your own checklist together. Okay, and you can check the box, and then you can grade it 1 through 10 in here, etc. So this idea of looking for a strong bid, trending up. We have a strong bid. We're finding aggressors. They are trading into that high liquidity though. But we would look for that trade into that high liquidity, and then we'd look for a bit of a pullback. Okay, same thing still happening here. So I'm still looking for them. It's already trading into 72. Okay, still looking, but bid is strong. Still looking for it to go higher here. Okay, up to maybe 75, 76. Let's see. Okay, now note though, what we're going to read in here, and then we'll go back and reverse engineer with the trade management, Rob. because it is the most, well, it's the most important part is first to understand that you have an edge. Okay, and an edge means probabilities. It doesn't mean that every time you take a trade, it's going to work out. Okay, it's just more likely it's going to work out. And now what we're going to understand, though, is we know that this is a two-sided auction. So we're trading higher, we're finding those aggressors, we're having a stronger bid. But we also know that we're trading into this high liquidity, and how much are we breaking out now? Okay, these are strong moves in here. Okay, this isn't bad, but it's not as strong. From here on up, this is 3 points or so from here on up. So this is what, 70 or 60, let's just call it 64, and this is up here 68. So I don't know, let's just call it 3.5 points, right? That's not bad. What about this move in here on up to here? So 69 on up to 71, 71.5, so 2.5 points. Okay, what about the breakout here? How much is it breaking out? 71 on up to 72.5 or 73, so 2 points. Okay, so now we're starting to understand the context that all of these sellers up in here starting to absorb that buying pressure. Okay, so that we can turn this into, even with the strong bid in here, if we don't find the aggressors, we're not going to go higher. Maybe we this strong trending move in here, maybe it turns into a sideways market for a bit. It is a strong bid. Boy, I really like it. I'm still looking for this to go higher, but we're starting to note, though, it's slowing down. All right, and then maybe we'll trade into, and sellers will test into this strong bid in here. All right, so now let's go back and we'll kind of reverse engineer this a bit, and we'll look at the how to manage the trade in here. Let's see, maybe should we start back here? Yeah, I mean the simplest would be to start back in here as the move down. In fact, we were kind of looking for this reversal to unfold up in here in this area here, right? And we didn't get it, and then we finally got it down here. We saw that the move into this high liquidity here, and we popped on the candlesticks, and we saw we started off with the looking at the double bottom, or yeah, in this case it's double bottom or triple bottom in here, and then you can see strong selling, but into high liquidity getting filled all the way down. Not too much liquidity, but not too much selling. A higher low here, and very little selling, and buyers starting to come back in. Right, so that's when we started to go through this scenario of trading back up to here, 62 area, 61.5, 62. This swing here. Okay, this would be your entry. Okay, because you don't see the selling down here, and you're starting to see buyers in here. So you're looking for it to break this level, and you're only looking for it to come up to here at this point, right? And that would be the simplest trade. So you would be getting in here, and you'd be getting out here. Now, if you're looking for a bigger picture, higher time frame, you'd be getting in the same area in here, and you might manage some and take some off up in here, but you'd be looking for these 3 wicks up here, or these swings here, this swing, and this swing up here. Okay, same idea, is just don't look at the wicks, look at the price action. up into these areas here. Okay. So anyway, this is very, very easily you can put together your setups checklist and look for this triple bottom or retest of this area, and then looking for the buyers in on the other side, back to the top of the range, back to the top of the range. In this case, it turns into a reversal, a higher time frame reversal. Does that help simplify it a bit? All right, so let's talk about the trade management within this in here. So yeah, something like in here. Now it looks pretty horrible. I mean, you could be more aggressive, but it does look pretty horrible, I have to say, to be getting in here at the top of the range, because a lot of times you get another rotation, and then maybe it does trade back down to these areas in here. If that does happen, just take the loss, take the small loss. Your stop would be down here. So you'd have what 55 is your stop. 57 and a half or so. Yeah, 2.5 point stop. Right, and then up here, so 57, so about a 4-point gain to take some off, or maybe you're out completely at that point. Now, how can you consider some of the management? Right, what we're going off of is the setup of a lot of buyers on the bid, and then we see a lack of buyers on the retest. Okay, after trading to high liquidity. Now it also helps to find pockets of buying in these areas in here, also in here. And this is where you get that transition from aggressive sellers to aggressive buyers, and this is where they take it higher. Now, obviously, that's really, really clear in hindsight like this, but the stop down below, and why the stop down below? Okay. Well, it's pretty straightforward. This is where there was no more activity. Okay. There was activity here, but into high liquidity. In here, there was no more selling activity, especially here. Okay. So now you're looking for buyers to trade it back into these other pockets where it did auction on the bid. I'm sorry, on the offer. In these areas in here. That's why you're looking for it to trade up, and that's why it's important to see some of this buying come in, okay, for that transition to take place. So anyway, stop is just below the swing here, because there's a lack of selling, and you're getting in here to looking for those buyers to get in to trade it back up to the top of the range. Okay. Now, in terms of, now we know entry, we know exit, and we know stop. There's more to it though than that. If you're looking for that bigger picture move, then you can hold this one and go for this range up here, or even bigger picture. Look for move back to this one. Looks really good to me, this 70 level up here. Okay, this is where it dropped from after the news at 10 o'clock, and this is where we see high liquidity here on the offer up at 70 as well. And that looks like and there's a swing here as well. Looks like a great area to go back and retest. And now it did it, and it traded through it, and the bid became even stronger, as you guys can see. So now, how do you manage that? Well, are you taking your profit off here? If you do see this, maybe what you can do is you can lift your limit take profit up into higher areas, try to let it run. Move your stop up underneath some of the swings in here. Okay, now you're not going to get as much. Maybe it trades up into 70 here. It curls right back around and stops you out. Okay, in this case, it continued on higher. There's other ways of getting involved in trade management as well. Of you caught the reversal. Now you're a buyer. You hold it. You're looking for pullbacks. Maybe you take some off, but you're looking for pullbacks. Get back in again. It's a separate trade. Move your stop up. Take some off. Now these are rather mechanical ideas, and we've all read about them in the books. But you've got to take risk. That's the hard part here. And then you've got to manage that risk. And then if you get stopped out, it really can blow your confidence. So how do you overcome that? Or this is some suggestions, possible ways to consider, is to just take a single, hit a base hit here. And then start to look at a bigger picture and start to look for, okay, where might it go? Right? And then maybe you take it off up here instead. Okay, because you're going to get a pullback because it's high liquidity. Typically, you're going to get a pullback. Is this making sense? Rob, is that helping you? Steven, others, Hector? Some new people in here. Welcome. Lucky, Ken, Josip, Josip. Yeah, in fact, guys, we're gonna show this again here on YouTube. Our Pro Trader webinar later today. You might want to come over to that special event. It's in Discord only. And Brandon trades. We haven't had him before. Looking very forward to it. Trades options and futures and stocks. Okay, so come on over for that. Starts at 2:30 p.m. today, East Coast time. Another thing, we're going to end the webinar here on YouTube. If you want to continue watching, then you can take a screenshot here. Use the QR code to join our Discord and continue with the discussion over here in our Discord channel. One more thing, yeah, please hit the like button. Let us know leave a comment. Any sort of feedback that we can get is always welcomed, always helpful. All right, so anyway, thank you everybody on YouTube. Hope to see you over in Discord with some of the other upcoming events. Okay, all week long special events here. All right, well, take care, and let us know. Give us a thumbs up there. Always appreciate that, and hope to see you over on Discord. All right, take care.